God bless you. God bless you. And yes, even you. All right. We are indeed excited and we celebrate you joining us live on this Kingdom Entrepreneur Network program. I am your empowerment bishop, Bishop Ricky Carr. And I count it an honor to be here tonight on this 23rd day of September 2024. And God is just good. And, you know, if you are listening to me at this time, I'd like for you to go ahead on and subscribe to this network. Because we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be sharing. We're going to be picking up on some of our broadcasting. We're going to start doing more broadcasting during the week because I've come to the realization I just need more time. I have so much to share that I really believe would bless the body that I just need more time to upload more content. So I'd like for you to subscribe. I'd like for you, though, to click this bell button because what's going to happen when I upload new material, you'll get notified. Uh-oh. The empowerment bishop to put some new stuff up. Let me see what he's talking about. Yeah, I want you to do that. And also I'd like for you to like this, because if the more likes that we can get and when we get this word out, I just think there'll be more people we can help and benefit in this hour. And if you feel that it will be a blessing and it's not going to interfere with your day, leaving a comment is real good. Leaving a comment is real good. It's very much appreciated. So I would appreciate all of those things. And if you want to say something in the chat box, you can. That's called we call it our virtual voice. And keeps us, acting out some things. And what I'm going to do, me, I like to play around with some stuff. And let me see if I play this note, if I hit this note, I mean that's powerful. Oh yeah, that's powerful right there. Yeah. So if you hear me do that, man, that's like, oh, Doc, you need to do something right there. And if you hear this, that means, whoa, that was deep. Oh wow, that was deep. Now, if you hear this, out of this world, man. It's just out of this world. So, those are some of the sounds that you might hear as we continue with this program. You know me, that's just how I am. I like to do stuff like that. So, navigating through all of this stuff, trying to make sure that we get everything right. Sometimes it's challenging, but I love it. I love it. So, once again, I'm glad that you're here. And even to those that view the repost, I'm happy that you decide to. I couldn't get it tonight, Bishop, but you put it up and I got it later on. Hey, I appreciate all of it. I celebrate all of it. I just want you to hear and receive what God has placed on my heart. I've been thinking about some things. I've been thinking about how God operates. Something that just always, stood out in my mind. When we stand before God and He begins to examine our lives, the Bible says He's going to bring out the books with an S on it. It sounds like to me that what we are doing is being recorded. God is recording our behaviors. And when we stand before him to be judged, he's going to judge us against the record. What's on record? He's going to judge us against what's on the record. You know, a lot of times people like to give their narratives and give their stories and tell you what God told them this and God told them that and all that kind of stuff. God's going to judge people by and against the record. So at the end of the day, the real question is, what does the record has to say about what we do? We need to look at the record. We need to look at what's been written. We need to look at the data. Oh, I know you say all kinds of things about yourself. Let's look at the data. Let's look at the data. I was looking at some information. I want to share this information with you. And I was like, this is interesting. I wanted to know how much confidence do the people have in the church? How much confidence is out there when it comes to the church and church leadership? We've seen a great shift in people not attending, and we've seen a great shift in people not giving. And I said, let me look at the data. What's the data saying? Well, I looked at the data. I looked at the record. The record doesn't look good. What I found is Bishop Pitts. Oh, my goodness. All right, doctor. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Well, good to see your name anyway. Anthony, good to see you as well, sir. The data says that in 1975, 68% of Americans had confidence in the church and the church leadership. 68%. I remember during the pandemic, though, it came out that the church was non-essential. I said, whoa. We went from 68% of Americans having confidence in the church and the leaders to the pandemic, we were non-essential. I said, okay, well, things going to get better. Things going to get better. Well, 2024, the data came out that the church has reached historic lows. I said, what? Historic lows? The data says only 35% of Americans have confidence in the church and the church leadership. What? 35% of Americans have confidence in the church and the church leadership. Now, I don't know about you. That doesn't sound good to me. It's like we came out of the pandemic and we got worse in the eyes of the people. Something y'all need to talk to me. Something, what's up? How in the world the church, only 35% of Americans have confidence in the character and integrity of the church and the church leadership? What are we doing? That would be my question. Are we having good church? The problem is, ain't nobody trusting us. There's no confidence Well, it can come check this out. This is something else that as a result, people don't give to the church because they don't trust the church. But this is what was interesting to me. Because I need to look at the record. I wanted to know, particularly in the Black church, how much money do we bring in every year in the Black church? The Black church brings in, listen to this, annually, $12 billion. I said, what the church, the Black church, we're bringing in $12 billion a year. And see, then my mind got to thinking, right? If we're bringing in $12 billion a year, why did churches have to turn to the government for help when the pandemic came? If we're bringing in $12 billion, I ain't say million, a year, why do we have to turn to the government for help? What it looked like to me, the church did not have an income problem. And since the church doesn't have an income problem, there's really no need for offering lines. We're bringing in $12 billion. What's the problem? This is what I share with my clients when they come to me and they're having financial situations. One of the first things they want to figure out is how much more money I can get. And I say to them, your problem is not the income. Your problem is the management of your expenses. You're spending too much. We have to determine, what are we spending the money on? Because obviously not enough was there to help the church when the church needed help. So where did the money go? Where's it going? $12 billion. Where's the money going? You can't keep telling the people that they don't have faith and you're not giving, you need to do more. No. What are you doing with the money? That's what it sounds like to me. Now, this is the advice. This is professional advice that I give to my clients. We have to look at cutting costs, because evidently the money going places that really is not doing you or your family any good. So tonight, I have some thoughts that I want to share with you, and hopefully it'll help get some answers, because even in your personal finances, a lot of times you're praying for financial blessing and you need more money and you're waiting on God to send you some more money. And could it be that more money is not where your problem is? Could it be that the problem is management of what God has already given you? Could that be the problem? It's been my experience with the clients that I work with that in many cases, if not all of them, once we began to address the cost, the expenses, money actually increased, because it's one of two ways. You make more money or you cut your expenses. Oh my goodness, this is good stuff right here. Check this out. Tonight we're going to talk about pastors. Are they really financial advisors? Because a lot of time when you have a financial problem and you turn to a pastor, they pray for a miracle. How does that fix my underlying problem? Woo! Good stuff right here. Let's go here. Let's get this thing going. Here's the agenda for tonight. We're going to come from our assignment, and our assignment, as we always say here, is the scripture. So we're going to have a scripture tonight, and we're going to put context to the content. We're going to put some context to the content. We're going to talk about the 7 income streams. We're going to talk about the World Economic Plan, the Financially Informed Economic Plan, the Church Economic Plan, and the Kingdom Economic Plan. What we're going to do is look at the financial structure of all 4 and see if we can see where the problem could be. Let's read, but let's go back to the beginning. We got to go all the way back to the beginning, but we got to figure out when God created Adam and Eve, what was going on? Look at Genesis 1:28. Check this out. And God blessed them. God said unto them, look at this, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. This is what God said to Adam and Eve when he created them. Now let's look at the context here. Check this out. God made the Garden of Eden and put Adam there and gave him his first assignment. This is very important here. When God created Adam and Eve, he gave them their first assignment. Now, what people need to understand, there's a difference between your purpose, your calling, and your assignment. God gave him his first task. And what was his first task? To me, that is key to understanding what really is the key to this whole program that God put together. This is what he said. And that first assignment was that of tilling the land. God gave this commandment to Adam. He never changed it, even after he sent Adam out of the garden. Hence, the first assignment that Adam received is still in force today. Management. Now, you know, I got to do what I got to do. There you go. Woo, oh my God. The first assignment that he gave him was management. He didn't say worship. He didn't say prayer. Your first assignment is to manage what I've given you. The first assignment. Now, this is going to be very key as we move on. The first assignment that God gave was management. That's the first assignment. The orderly arrangement of things. That was the first assignment. Now, what I want to look at here, we're kind of trying to figure out this whole income situation because we have people in church that are struggling financially. Are they receiving anything from the pulpit on Sunday that can help them on Monday? Let me see what I said. Ask that question again. Are they receiving anything on Sunday that can help them on Monday? A lot of times what we receive on Sunday is good for Sunday. But on Monday, what we receive on Sunday is not helping Monday. Because if the first assignment God gave Adam was management, how is what you gave me on Sunday going to improve my management skills on Monday? Check this out. There's 7 income streams. Very important here. You have the job. That's where you earn money. The second income stream is business income. That's where you receive profits. So you receive a salary from the job, you receive profits from your business. Bank income. That's where you receive interest on your money. Stocks, that's where you receive dividends based on the companies that you invest in. Property income, that's if you got rental property, that's real estate. Asset income, that's when you invest in stocks and you pay a certain amount of money, and now the stocks have increased in value, and now you have what they call capital gains. Then you have creation income, which we call royalty. So that's when you can write a song, or you write a book, or you do something of that caliber, and you receive money. These are the 7 primary income streams. Question is, how many of these streams do you have? Before we start blaming the devil for our financial woes, how many income streams do you have? Good to see you, Sirleen. How many income streams do you have? There are 7 out there. How many of these streams are taught to you in church? Let me say that again. How many of these streams are taught to you in church? Now, we read a few minutes ago what God said to Adam. He wanted him to be fruitful. Now, you got to understand the Hebrew meaning of that word has to do with being productive. In other words, he wanted Adam to produce something. These income streams are out here, and they're for us to take advantage of so we can be productive, but they must be taught. It's not taught in school. So the place for us in our community to learn these things will be in church. So, but if it's not taught on Sundays, we're going to Monday with just one income stream, the job. We see, God has a progressive provision system. We're supposed to be progressing from the job up to business, up to banks, up to stocks, up to real estate, up to assets, and then your own creativity. It's supposed to be progressive. This is how you help the generation. How is it we can bring in $12 billion and still not have enough money to take care of churches? Where's the money? What are we spending the money on? Do we need more money, or do we need management? That's the real question. Now, let's look at the World Economic Plan. Let's check this out, because we need to kind of see how things are set up, because there's a reason why things are the way they are. When you look at the World Economic Plan, this is the system that they've set up for the average American. You have been trained, and you will be trained if you're real young, trained to go to school. To go to school, not to start a business, though. You're trained to go to school. They are preparing you to get a job. It's good stuff right here. Go to school to get a job. Then they want you, when you get the job, to work hard. Oh, it's such an honor to say you're a hard worker. Yes, you're a hard worker. Okay. Then if you're really a good person, you don't pay your taxes. And when everything is all said and done, you can retire. Maybe. After 40 years of work, I might be able to retire. I don't even know if stuff's going to be there. This is what the system has put us in front of us, and this is what we aspire to. But you see, we got to understand, if we're going to be productive, that's what God wanted us to be, productive. The goal is not just to make a living. The goal should be to make a difference. We can't make a difference if we are at a job, because the job keeps us in scarcity mode. It keeps us in a situation where we don't have enough. We're in survival mode. When there is just the job income, we can't make a difference in people's lives because we're trying to survive. And then if you're not careful when you go to church, the church continues to teach and keeps us in the job and the scarcity mindset. And what we do, we just look to God to get us out of this. The system that the world has set up, if we follow this system that's in front of you right now, you will find yourself trying to survive, living paycheck to paycheck, because it's not designed to get you out. It's designed to keep you in and keep you needing them. That's very important what I just said. It's designed to keep you needing them, not to operate independent. But that's the system. This is what I learned when I stepped out of the church and went into the professional arena and became an enrolled agent and began to understand how money works. I said to myself, it's got to be something that we're missing, well, that I was missing. And then I began to see what was going on. But there's another group out here that's not tied to what the average American has to deal with. They're operating from a different system. I call them the financially informed individuals. These people know something, and they do not follow the rules that average Americans follow. Look at that. Look what we have here. That group, the first thing they get advisors. People that are professional in the field of money and understand how this particular system works, not the other system that I just talked about. They don't want no part of that system. This is the system that they ascribe to. Wow. It's some heavy stuff, Bishop. Now, this particular system, I'm going to say this real quick. In this system right here, you'll notice they don't do budgets. I have clients that's operating from this system. They don't do no budget. Budget is not part of the vocabulary when you in this system. When you in this system, it's forecasting, not budgeting. What do you mean forecasting? They intentionally spend money paying attention to what type of tax deduction they can get. They're forecasting on what type of tax break they can get. It's a strategic plan. They're forecasting. Whereas in the first system that I just told you, they deal with budgets. Now check this out. They have advisors, and these are professional people. These are not people that they work with on their job and some homeboy that they talking to. Hey, Doc, what you think about? No, they have professional advisors that have been trained. They're fiduciaries. They have a responsibility to make sure that they look out for the interest of their client. That's number one. Number two, corporations. This group, they create a corporation. So they live what they call a corporate lifestyle. Oh my God, check this out. I'm gonna tell you how they operate. They create a corporation, and everything they do is through the corporation. They call it a corporate lifestyle. Everything. If they buy food, they buy this, everything is through the corporation. Why is that? I'm glad you asked that question. They understand that they make the money through their corporation. And then what they do, they activate the 80,000 pages that's in the tax code. They activate that tax code to have deductions, expense write-offs, with the aid of the advisors to make sure that they stay in compliance with the IRS. So they activate 80,000 pages, and then they pay the taxes after, which is virtually almost nothing, because they live a corporate lifestyle. Whereas in that first program that we just talked about, that first system, you operate as an individual, as a person, and therefore, if you operate as an individual, you automatically pay more taxes. If you operate as a business and become the business, then you don't pay those kind of taxes because the government gives breaks to the corporations. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Woo! I ain't finished though. Check this out. Then what they do, the corporation is now held by a trust. It's held by a trust. Everything. And oh my gosh. And the corporation funds the trust. So this is why that individual don't own anything, because it's either through the corporation, and the corporation then fund the trust with those items. Once again, you as an individual don't own anything. So when it comes down to personal taxes, there's nothing for you much to pay because everything is in the corporation. Okay. That ain't it. Check this out. Then they fill that trust with insurance policies. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Insurance policies. Because, check this out, you can borrow money from your insurance and you don't pay taxes on borrowed money. And you pay it back. And then when you do transition, Lord, check this out. When you do transition, the money that comes from the insurance policies is now put back into the trust so your families can still benefit from the process. And then last but not least, they invest in buying and selling businesses in addition to owning real estate. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. What I just laid out to you, if you ever get to this system, you're going to say, what in the world have I been missing? Oh, let's move on, because I can tell right now I need to move on. I got to cut this short. Now let's look at the church's economic plan. Because remember, we just said they bought in $12 billion. So what happened to the money? Let's check this out. Here is the economic program for the church, specifically the Black church. Here's our sources of income. Tithes. We have been preached about tithes time and time again. Just about everybody know about tithes. Tithes, tithes, tithes. Tithes in the morning, tithes in the afternoon, tithes in the evening. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now we got offerings. Offerings. Come on, God gonna bless you. Give. God gonna bless you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now check this out. This is what's interesting to me. Normally when it comes to tithes and offerings, pastors push tithes and offerings. They want you to place the tithes and offerings into their control and influence so they can make decisions on how they're going to be spent. Tithes and offerings. But now you got this other group that comes into play called prophets. If you notice, they don't push tithes and offerings. They push their anointing. So now they're going to pray for you to have a financial blessing because of the anointing that's on them. Hey, we talking about, let's look at the record. You know I'm telling us how it is. So now God has anointed me, and I'm going to pray for you. And this time next week, this is what's going to happen next week. So you have the pastors that's doing the tithes and the offering, and then the prophets that are coming in with the miracle money. Here's where I'm getting to. Out of those three categories, $12 billion came into the church. Then where's the money? Look at that last piece right there. Stewardship. That's what's missing. How many management conferences have you been to? We go to leadership conferences all the time. How many management conferences have we had? Remember, the first assignment God gave to Adam was management, not leadership, not worship, not prayer, management. One of the least taught subjects in the church is stewardship, management. We might hit it real quick and we get off it though. We ain't gonna hang there long. But why is that important, Bishop? Because remember what I said earlier, most of the time a person comes to me and they having financial problems, and the first thing they think is they need more money. But after we look at their situation, it turns out what we need is better management of what we have. And once we get better management of what we have, then we're able to see better what we need to do to move forward. First thing we need to do is cut costs. And so therefore, if that's not being taught, you're sending the people to work on Monday, not prepared to operate in the first assignment God gave Adam, and that is in management. Woo! I guess I need to move on here. Not Roman tithes, offering them and call it miracle money. But if we don't manage it, when a crisis hit us again, once again, we're going to need to turn to the government. Same thing within your families. We've got to properly manage the money. It's important that we manage what God has given us. Let's move on further, because here's the key. Here's that last piece. The kingdom economic plan. Now, this is the plan that God set up. You remember what he told Adam? He said, be fruitful. I said to you earlier, that Hebrew word for that is productive. So what is God saying? God said, all right, Adam, this is what I want you to do. I want you to produce something. Produce something that you could sell. See, God wants, and if we're going to be a blessing, you have to produce something. See, when you're working on the job, you're not producing anything. You're working for a paycheck for somebody else, and they're going to give you what they think you're worth. But if you get into the area where you produce something, now we're doing something. After you produce it, he says, then multiply. That's called reproduce. Let me give you an example. When I'm preaching, when I'm teaching, I am producing something. When I'm teaching, when I'm preaching, I'm producing. But check this out. Tonight, you're listening to me. I'm preaching, I'm producing something, but I'm also now recording this. I am reproducing what I just produced. That's good preaching right there, Doc. That's laying it right there. I am now reproducing this. So you're supposed to produce something and then reproduce it. This is how now you're setting your situation up where you can be a blessing to somebody. When you're working on the job, you're not reproducing. Oh, look, check this. Move on further. Now it says replenish. Replenish means to distribute. So now I'm producing this tonight, By me recording this, I am reproducing it. That's how I'm multiplying it. And now what I'm going to do, when you talk about distribution, there's two different types of distribution, direct and indirect. Direct distribution is when I myself make my product available through this platform called the internet. So I'm going to make this available to people called the internet. This is how I'm distributing what I am producing and reproducing. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Then it talks about to subdue. When you check that out, to subdue is to conquer, to overcome, endure, because you got to understand when you are doing this, there are challenges, and a lot of people stop because there are a lot of challenges. Things don't go the way, but what God is saying, I need you to stay the course. What Paul told Timothy, endure hardness. I don't care how hard it is, how difficult it is. I need you to subdue the challenges. And last but not least, he said, have dominion. And sometimes people really don't understand what that means. It don't mean bossing people around. What he is saying, now I want you to operate with influence. Influence. Influence the lives of people. Influence people that I can do this. This is a revelation that I hadn't heard of. And I like this plan. You got the first plan. I'm sure you don't like that plan. I call that first plan the World Economic Plan. No, I don't want that one. I don't want that plan. Then I had that second plan. The second plan is what the financially informed. Now that's pretty close because they have more control over their present and future. That's pretty good. Then the church plan. There's nothing wrong with the church plan, but in the church plan, there's not a lot of teaching about stewardship and management, which is the key to the process. It's the key to the whole process, but it's not taught. So therefore, the people don't understand the concept of management, and that's what the enemy wants us to be blind when it comes to that. So the key is not just to make money; it's to keep it, so you can be a blessing. And then you have the kingdom economic plan, which turns out to be the plan that God gave Adam back in Genesis. Be productive, multiply, replenish, subdue, and have dominion. Now, to help you out with that, be productive. Do multiply. Do replenish. Do subdue. And then have dominion. Be, do, have. Be, do, have. Remember the be, do, and have. And watch you take control over your financial situation. The kingdom economic plan, if the church was operating with this plan, when that pandemic came, we would have been ready. This plan keeps you trusting God. But with the other plans, it keeps you trusting people, depending on people. See, you think you need hands laid on you by somebody in order for your finances to get better. I say, no, you need proper management. There's so many places I could go with that, but we're going to leave that right there. Well. Woo, that was a rough one, y'all. That was a rough one. Let's do the recap. We talked about 7 income streams. We talked about the World Economic plan. That's right, Charlene. That's a drop mic situation right there. We talked about the financially informed economic plan. We talked about the church economic plan, and we talked about the kingdom economic plan. My question to you is, which plan will you work with? I'm gonna share this with you because this is important too. Check this out. I've created an online course, 7 steps, 7-step Kingdom Finances Masterclass. Yeah. I created this program because you remember I said earlier, you have to reproduce and then you have to distribute. You see what I'm saying? And so what I'm trying to do is make this information available to you. Now it's going to be available to you in the form of an online course. 7 steps that you have to take that have been proven to work to get you out of your financial situation and into a better situation. I got to pick a dream without details is just a wish. You have people talking about pray and have faith and trust God. No, faith without works is dead. You got to have a plan. You got to have details. And this online course is full of details. Now, one of the things that's important, one of the steps in there has to do with debt management. Has to do with debt management. And what I give in this online course, I give 5 ways of managing your debt. 5 ways of managing your debt. See, what people don't understand, I don't have a problem with people using credit cards because credit card use is good. What's dangerous is credit card debt. You got to be able to distinguish between credit card use and then credit card debt. And my job is to explain to you through this course how to keep that in mind as you manage the credit cards that you have. Like one of the things that I like to share with people about, if you can go purchase a car, right? I have a 23-8 rule that works. What is that, Bishop? You go buy a car, right? Put 20% down, finance the car for just 3 years, and make sure that the payment that you pay on this car is no more than 8% of your income. Woo! Right there is a nugget right there. 23 and 8. 20, the number 3, and then 8. 20% down, 3-year finance on the car, and the payments no more than 8% of your income. We're talking about managing your debt. You got to have a strategic plan to manage your debt. I have, like I said earlier, and this is not even included in the 5 ways of doing it. This is just a little nugget that I threw in. I strongly encourage you to take this online course. I think it's going to bless you. 7-step Kingdom Finance Masterclass just for you. Wow. Whew. Night was a big one, y'all. But we got through it. We got through it. And I pray something was said to bless you. Now, I got to end with what you know what I got to end with. I got to end with this because I like to always remind people at the end of the day, the wealth of the sinner belongs in your hands. No margin, no mission.